I specifically asked not to follow Marcia. Because I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to stop crying, to be able to tell my story. And yes, my story is a Christmas story, and it's a story that's beyond a Christmas story. I first met Daisy many, many years ago. I was sitting in a chair and Daisy was in line. The chair was a huge green chair, and even a big guy like me, the chair just swallowed me up. And I saw Daisy. You see, I'm Santa Claus. And I was in a big green chair waiting for the children. And on the weekends and during the busy times, there were huge, long, hours-long lines to see me, to get a moment or two, to get a photo or two with me. But this day, Daisy had come with her grandmother to see me, and it was a weekday, and there were hardly any other people there. So it was a good time to visit with me. Now, some kids, when they see Santa Claus, they shrivel up, they're so shy and afraid sometimes, and just approach very gingerly. Not Daisy. Daisy was one of those kids that just took off from 20 yards and just ran as fast as she could and leapt into my arms, gave me a big hug around the neck, and it was so fantastic. And we connected. We looked into each other's eyes. We laughed. We smiled. I asked her what she wanted for Christmas. She told me some stories, and we had a great visit. And there was enough time, even though it was brief, to get to know each other, to really get to know each other. And her eyes were so clear and so perfect. And we visited, we took a few photos. And she said, "Thank you, Santa." And she went off to where they had placed an order and were going to get some photos. And she was one of these kids that are concerned about me. So she came back with a photo of she and I and said, "Here's my gift, Santa, you and I." And even though, Santa could have any photo that I wanted, Daisy didn't know that when she gave so generously. She was concerned that I was a person who gave people so many gifts, but that who's taking care of me? Who's going to give me a gift? So she wanted to. And I looked at that photo and it was fantastic. And my heart really began to grow. And I was reminded of why I was Santa in the first place. Well, while Daisy was over getting that photo, her grandmother, who had brought her to me, came up, leaned over, and she said, "Santa, Daisy's father died last week." And she was so blue. She was so in a funk about losing her daddy that I didn't know what might bring her out of it, what might bring her a little joy. And then I thought, I think maybe going to see Santa would bring her out of that a little bit, still with the pain of loss. but some little measure of joy during the season. Just about the time we were done speaking, and I heard that story about Daisy and Daisy's father, Daisy came back and she looked into my eyes and she said, "Santa, you look just like my daddy." I kept it a little together, but I had to take a break very shortly after she left. And I kept that photo of Daisy and I up in the break room during the entire busy season that I had to remind me just of what Santa was about for me. Loving and caring, and little kids, and bringing joy, and being attentive, and all of those things. And it drew me back to one of the reasons I ever chose to be Santa. It was because of a call. I lived in Globe. I had made my home many years in Tucson, but I was in Globe. And it was Christmas morning after the Christmas Eve services. And I got a call from Tucson Medical Center. And they suggested that I should come to Tucson as quickly as I could to the hospital. And because of my training, some of my residencies, I knew what hospital protocol was when a death had occurred. And I knew that hospitals never tell people that a loved one has died. They suggest we come to the hospital right away, and because they're scared that you'll do something crazy or drive off the road or otherwise. But when they said to me that my mom was in the hospital, I just knew. I just knew. And so I raced down from Globe, going too fast, way too fast, and crying, really kind of hard to see. And I was pulled over by a highway patrolman who took mercy on me, heard what I had to say, because I wasn't even concerned with the ticket or how long it might take to have them check everything they needed to check. I just wanted to get to the hospital. And so he let me on my way, told me to drive safely, to be careful, and I did slow down a bit and arrived at TMC, where I was told that on Christmas Day my mother was dead. Completely unexpected. And when there's never a good time to lose someone that you love, ever, no matter how old they are, no matter what the circumstance, it's just really difficult on any day or any night to lose someone you love. But when it's Christmas Day, for me, because Christmas had always been the happiest holiday. I loved Christmas, still do. But from that moment on, a river of, the peals of laughter and the kids opening gifts and all everything that we've come to expect of Christmas, it's still there, but there is always a river of melancholy, always a sadness, always some tear. And so when I was living my life and the next Christmas was rolling around, I wondered how and what I might do to not be so terribly sad, and how to redeem this day for me. And there was a light bulb. And I thought, oddly, I could be Santa. I could be Santa. And so I have become Santa. And when I'm there with a child, attending to her or him, or their families or their parents, I do it to honor my mother. I do it because she loved me, and I love loving other people to spread that joy. Just as I did that day with Daisy. Now, I came out to find out years later that I look nothing like Daisy's father. Nothing. He was skinny, I'm not. He had hair, I don't. He didn't even have a beard. But Daisy taught me a lesson, because I began to understand that if you look into the eyes of another person, another human being, even a person that's so dramatically different than you, and you see them with your heart, without knowing their full story, but with a heart of love, if you love them and care about them, that Daisy could see her father because my eyes were caring for her and loving her. And I've come to believe over the years, as I look out into who's in front of me, that the mothers who are there, I look into their eyes, I see my mom. I see the fathers holding the infants and making sure the kids are doing what they should be doing. And I see my father, and I believe with all my being, I don't know much. I can't be sure of much, but I can be sure, I am sure, that when we look into another's eyes with care and love, when we see each other as mothers or daughters or fathers, see another person that way, it changes us. It makes us gentler, kinder. We're kinder, they're kinder. And the result is we all live in a more compassionate and kinder world. The kind of world that I want to live in. And Lord knows, in these days of so much, we need to find a way for kindness to prevail.